India reports less than 1 lakh daily COVID cases for the third consecutive day. Active cases fall to 11.68 lakh. Recovery rate climbs to 94.77%. Number of vaccine doses administered crossed the 24 crore mark. Union Health Ministry issues detailed guidelines for management of coronavirus in children. Guidelines do not recommend use of the antiviral drug remdesivir, use of steroids under strict supervision only for patients with severe to extremely severe COVID. Heavy rain, strong winds lash Mumbai and surrounding areas. 11 people are killed as residential building collapses in Malad West. President, Prime Minister express condolences over the loss of lives. The PM announces an ex gratia payment of 2 lakh rupees each for the next of kin of those who've been killed in the incident and 50,000 rupees for the injured. In international news, US President Joe Biden arrives in the UK to attend the G7 summit in his first foreign trip after assuming office. Says he would deliver a clear message to Russian President Vladimir Putin when they meet next week. UK PM Boris Johnson says G7 summit is a chance to show the world our values of openness, freedom, democracy and free trade. And in sports, Asian Games gold medal winner boxer DINGKO Singh passes away at the age of 42 after a long battle with liver cancer. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Modi and Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju expressed grief over the death of the legendary boxer. Namaskar, you're with the latest here on DD India and DD News. I'm Gautam Roy. The Union Health Ministry has issued detailed guidelines for management of coronavirus in children amid concerns that a new surge of cases could affect those below the age of 18 years. According to the guidelines issued by the Directorate General of Health Services, the new guidelines do not recommend the use of the antiviral drug remdesivir. For the use of remdesivir injection, the DGHS has clearly stated that there is not enough data available for its use in the age group of 3 to 18 years, which means remdesivir must not be used among children. Along with this, CT scan must be used rationally to check for chest infections among children. While advising the rational use of CT scan, DGHS has said that chest scan is of little help in the treatment of children. In such a situation, doctors should decide to conduct HRCT in COVID-19 patients only for critical cases. The guidelines also state that the use of steroids in symptomatic and mild cases of infection is harmful. Furthermore, the DGHS has suggested the use of steroid drugs under strict surveillance or supervision only for patients with severe to extremely severe cases. The DGHS has also issued guidelines on mucormycosis or black fungus among children. It said that the mode of infection is usually through inhalation of fungal spores present in dust or air, followed by symptoms including facial pain, pain over sinuses, periorbital swelling, etc. DGHS has advised citizens not to wait for culture results to initiate therapy. It added that the treatment must be continued until resolution of clinical signs and symptoms as well as radiological signs of active disease. Taking a 6-minute walk test to assess the physical ability of children has also been recommended. In this, children are asked to walk continuously for 6 minutes by placing a pulse oximeter on their finger. If during this time the oxygen saturation comes less than 94, then they might experience difficulty in breathing. Based on this test, a decision can be taken on whether to hospitalize them or not. The DGHS has also clarified that this test is not recommended for children who have asthma. It was also mentioned in the guidelines that if a patient shows severe COVID symptoms, then oxygen therapy must begin without delay. In the meantime, India continues to see decline in new daily COVID-19 cases. According to the Union Health Ministry, 94,052 new COVID cases were reported yesterday. The country has registered less than 1 lakh cases for the third day yesterday. Active caseload has further declined to 11,67,952. Active cases have decreased by 63,463 in the last 24 hours. The country's present active caseload consists of 4% of the total positive cases. Daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 28th consecutive day. 1,51,367 patients have recovered from COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. As many as 2.76 crore people have also recovered from the coronavirus across the country so far from the beginning of the pandemic. National recovery rate has further increased to 94.77%, while the fatality rate currently stands at 1.23%. And India also continues to cross milestones as far as the vaccination drive is concerned. 24.27 crore vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Out of this, more than 33.79 lakh people were vaccinated in the last 24 hours. The Government of India is continuously making efforts to ensure timely availability of COVID-19 vaccines across the country, besides streamlining its supply chain, including storage. In this regard, the Union Health Ministry has prohibited states and union territories from sharing COVID-19 vaccine stock-related information with any other agency or organization. In a letter, the Health Ministry added that this is sensitive information and is to be used only for program improvement. It also said that sharing of sensitive e-win data on stocks and storage and temperature requires the Health Ministry's prior consent solely to prevent any misuse of this data by various agencies for commercial purposes. The Health Ministry is using the e-win electronic platform for all vaccines used under Universal Immunization Program for more than 6 years now. It highlighted that the data on COVID-19 vaccine stocks, consumption and balance as reflected on co-win platform is being regularly shared in a transparent manner with the media and public through weekly press conferences and daily press releases. Furthermore, the GST Council, chaired by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, will meet on the 12th of June to decide on GST rate cut for COVID essentials. In the previous meeting of the Council on the 28th of May, a group of ministers was set up to recommend tax relief on COVID essentials, including PPE kits, masks and vaccines, to the GST Council. The group of ministers submitted its report to the Council on the 7th of June. Now let's get to the latest on the monsoon situation, particularly in Maharashtra. Well, the intensity of rain decreased in Mumbai today. The Met Department issued orange alert in Mumbai, Palghar, Thane, Raigad, Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg districts for today. In Mumbai, central and harbour routes were back to normal. Road traffic congestion also improved. There is a possibility of high tide that was to be taken into account because that was forecast to rise to 4 meters or more, and that could have caused some problems. Thane and Palghar districts have been receiving light to moderate rains since last night. In Raigad district, there is a danger of landslides in many parts, considering which locals are being evacuated to safer places. In Ratnagiri district, curfew will be imposed on Friday and Saturday following IMD's warning. Fishermen have been asked not to venture out to sea. IMD is also warned of heavy rains in all districts of Konkan, including Mumbai, till the 12th of June. Further, there is a forecast of thunder showers in Konkan, central Maharashtra, Marathwada and Vidarbha regions for the next 2 days. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has instructed all agencies related to disaster management and all the administrative agencies of districts to be vigilant. Meanwhile, NDRF has deployed 15 teams in Thane, Raigad, Palghar, Ratnagiri, Mumbai and Sindhudurg districts. There's been a tragedy that's also been reported. 11 people lost their lives after a residential building collapsed at the new collector compound in Malad West in Mumbai last night. Search and rescue operations have been conducted ever since the disaster took place, and 7 people have been reported to be injured as well, who are being treated at the Ambedkar Hospital in Kandivali. Prime Minister Modi has announced an ex-gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the PM NRF for the next of kin of those who've lost their lives due to a structure collapse in Malad. 50,000 rupees will also be provided to those who've been injured. That apart, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray too has announced a help of 5 lakh rupees each to the kin of the victims and assured that the state government will also pay for the treatment of the injured. Let's try and get the latest on this rescue operation. Let's go across to my colleague Shishir Shelar for more on this. Shishir, first of all, what can you tell us about this accident that has taken place? In fact, I'm told we're not connected to Shishir at the moment. Shishir, can you tell me what is the latest as far as this incident in Malad is concerned? Have there been more survivors?
Well, absolutely, Gautam. So far, we haven't received any fresh updates here. The last update that we received from the authorities is that nearly 17 people have been removed, are injured. Actually, 11 dead bodies have recovered from the debris. Right now, the officials there working on the sides, now removing the debris. So far, there is no rise in the death toll also or in the injured person, but still the operation is on. As I'm talking to you, there has been intermittent rain in Mumbai since morning and the adjoining areas here, and that's the reason the rescue operation was delayed a little bit. Still, when I'm talking to you, we have got to know that the authorities there is trying to remove the debris from the particular incident spot here. Well, as far as the rain is concerned, Gautam, in Mumbai, it's been raining since morning, quite intermittent rain. We have seen in Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai, Palghar region also.
Okay.
If you look at the IMD forecast here, it already stated that till 12th of June, the coastal region of Maharashtra will receive a heavy to very heavy rainfall here, and that's the reason they have also issued orange alert in this entire coastal region of Maharashtra. Well, keeping this in mind, already the local authority have already swung into action. Nearly 15 teams of NDRF have also been deployed in the entire region here. Wherever required, the district collectors have been told to take action as soon as possible, and that's the reason even the Maharashtra Chief Minister hold a review meeting yesterday with the district collectors from these districts which are adjoining the coastal line, including the Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri, Mahad, that is Raigad, Thane, and of course the BMC officials also. And I've also been told that whenever required, those people have been required to shift to the safer places. Those people have been evacuated. Some places have already been reported from Raigad region where because of the fear of landslide, the people have been evacuated to the safer places.
Right.
As far as Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri districts are concerned, which are quite close to the seabelt here, the local authority along with the IMD has warned the fishermen that not to venture in deep sea for the fishing. They have already been told that the next 2 to 3 days is quite crucial here. Rough sea weathers probably may cause a problem for them, and that's the reason the precautions have been they have been told to take up precautions while venturing it. Obviously, we have seen that the security the authorities, especially in these entire regions, have already swung into action and taking care of each things here. At the same time, the IMD have also said that the next 2 to 3 days are quite crucial for the Mumbaikars as well as for the people living and residing in the coastal area here. Well, as far as the Mumbai current situation is concerned, yesterday we will see that Mumbai was complete standstill because of heavy rainwater. But since morning, the normalcy has returned to Mumbai. Even the trains are working as per the schedule here. There's no traffic jam on the roads, especially the lowland areas where we have seen that completely submerged yesterday has now come to the normalcy here. The pumping stations are already installed at various places in Mumbai. Well, yesterday those pumping stations, a few of them have actually were not working here due to the force of water. But now, as we have seen that water subsides, we can see that Mumbai has returned to the normal life.
Okay. Well, I hope things stay that way and people stay safe. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Shishir Shelar. Now, the domestic stock markets posted good gains on Thursday. The BSE Sensex advanced 359 points or 0.7% to end at 52,301. The NSE Nifty added 102 points or 0.7% again to close at 15,738. The broader market posted stronger gains, with the BSE Mid-Cap Index climbing 1.3% and the Small Cap Index surging 1.7%. Among the sectoral indices, Metal, Pharma, PSU Bank and Realty indices gained between 1 to 3%. Bajaj Finance was the top performer, on the BSE gaining 7.3%. International news now. And US President Joe Biden arrived in the UK on Wednesday for his first trip abroad since taking office. During his 8-day-long Europe visit, Biden will attend a G7 leaders meeting. The meeting is expected to be dominated by vaccine diplomacy and an initiative for rebuilding infrastructure in the developing world. The G7 agenda also includes climate change and trade. The US President will also meet the Queen at Windsor Castle and join his first NATO summit as President during his Europe tour. At the end of his visit, Biden is due to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Geneva.
I'm heading to the G7, then to the NATO ministerial, and then to meet with Mr. Putin to let him know what I want him to know. And at every point along the way, we're going to make it clear that the United States is back and democracies of the world are standing together to tackle the toughest challenges and the issues that matter most to our future. That we're committed to leading with strength, defending our values, and delivering for our people.
And the Biden administration has planned to donate 500 million Pfizer coronavirus vaccine doses to nearly 100 countries over the next 2 years. The United States is likely to distribute 200 million shots this year and another 300 million in the first half of next year to 92 lower-income countries and the African Union. The donations will go through the COVAX vaccine program that distributes COVID-19 shots to low- and middle-income countries. The program is led by the World Health Organization and the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. President Biden is expected to make a formal announcement in Britain on Thursday at the G7 meeting. Also, Joe Biden has withdrawn a series of executive orders that sought to ban new downloads of WeChat and TikTok and ordered a Commerce Department review of security concerns posed by these apps. The administration of former President Donald Trump had attempted to block new users from downloading the apps and ban other technical transactions that Chinese-owned TikTok and WeChat both said would effectively block the app's use in the US. The courts blocked those orders, which never took effect. A White House official said that a separate US national security review of TikTok launched in late 2019 remains ongoing. Sports updates now, and in the French Open, Rafael Nadal will face top seed Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals after the Spanish 13-time champion outlasted Diego Schwartzman in a tricky battle in Paris. Djokovic won against Italian 9th seed Matteo Berrettini. Serbia's Djokovic faces Nadal in a rerun of last year's final tomorrow. And in the women's category, Maria Sakkari ended defending champion Iga SWIATEK's 11-match winning streak at the French Open and reached the semi-finals of a major tournament for the first time. 17th seed Sakkari used strong and steady baseline play to eliminate SWIATEK 6-4, 6-4 and ensured that the clay court tournament will end with a new Grand Slam champion in the women's category. An unseeded Barbora KREJCIKOVA of the Czech Republic reached her first Grand Slam semi-final at the French Open as well. Barbora defeated COCO Gauff 7-6, 6-3 in the quarterfinals. Gauff saved 5 match points but eventually fell short, ending her run after becoming the youngest American woman to make the last 8 in Paris since Jennifer Capriati in 1993. And in tragic sporting news, former Indian boxer and Asian Games gold medalist DINGKO Singh passed away today after a prolonged illness. He was 42 years old. Regarded as one of the finest boxers India has ever produced, DINGKO had clinched a gold medal at the 1998 Bangkok Asian Games. DINGKO was battling ill health for a number of years now, starting with liver cancer, for which he was being treated since 2017. He was bestowed with the Arjuna Award in 1998 and was presented the nation's fourth highest civilian honor, the Padma Shri, in 2013. DINGKO Singh was employed with the Navy and took up coaching after hanging up his gloves. President Ramnath Kovind has expressed grief over DINGKO Singh's demise and condoled his family members. And Prime Minister Modi has also condoled the death of the legendary boxer. Taking to Twitter, the PM said, and I quote, Shri DINGKO Singh was a sporting superstar, an outstanding boxer who earned several laurels and also contributed to furthering the popularity of boxing. Saddened by his passing away. Condolences to his family and admirers. Om Shanti. Union Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju also extended condolences to the legendary boxer's family. Also, renowned Bengali filmmaker Buddhadev Das Gupta passed away at the age of 77 on Thursday morning at his residence in Kolkata. He was suffering from a kidney ailment. Buddhadev Das Gupta, who was also a celebrated poet, had won several national awards for his contribution to Bengali cinema. Born in Purulia in 1944, Das Gupta was a highly acclaimed filmmaker who had won 5 national awards for Best Film and 2 for Best Director. He graduated from Scottish Church College in Kolkata and started his career as a lecturer in economics. He soon turned to filmmaking and took to making documentaries in the late 1960s. His first feature film was Duratva, which released in 1978. Among his important works are Phera, Bagh Bahadur, Tahader Katha, Mondomar Upakhyan, Kala Purush and Tope. The subject of many of his films, drawn from Bengali literature, dealt with rural Bengal, often added with elements of fantasy, magic and realism. Assam Forest Minister Parimal Suklabhya today formally handed over the notification copy of upgrading RAIMONA reserved forest into a national park to the BTC chief Pramod Boro at a function held at the national park. Prior to that, the minister had inaugurated the national park as well. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of the news. But for all the latest, do stay tuned to DD India and DD News.